Amen. So, if it's not obvious, I was not prepared to preach for Sunday. I was ready to go last night, but we watched Turning Red instead, which I'd probably be doing right now if I was doing that. But, oh boy. So, I'm going to give a little testimony first before I start what I'm preaching on. So, as I've said, Pastor Eugene has said, they're not going to discipline me here at the church because I'll get my tests through my job. And since she said that, the floodgates of hell have opened up at work. It has been one thing after another, and the whole time I'm like, thank you, Pastor Eugene. I appreciate this. And what's sad is because when I'm tested, say like here, like right now, going through everything, like I have all of you with me, so it strengthens me. But when I'm at work, it's like being Peter, like, no, I don't know him. I've never been with him before in my life. I don't know what you're talking about. Even though everybody knows that, oh, you pray, you go to church, you're supposed to let us do whatever we want to, and you're supposed to be okay with it. And they don't understand that Jesus ain't gave me that much grace yet. I'm still a little bit, fleshy, a little bit prideful. And there's days where I'm tired and I might react a little bit. But now, fortunately, unfortunately, being raised to elder, people have asked me, what does it mean? And I really don't know exactly what to tell them. But in my walk, I see the difference because now I can't get offended. I can't react. So there's a young lady I work with, and we've had incidents before. So like one day, our boss wasn't there, and she was acting boss. So she kept calling me in my work area saying, oh, this is wrong. I'd say, okay, and I'd hang up and continue working. Then she'd call me back, oh, this is wrong. Okay, so by the 5th time she called me, I was like, why do you keep calling me? I'm not the boss. I can't fix anything. I can't change it. Have you called a manager? Oh my gosh, she went crazy. I'm doing the best I can. And then she just started yelling. And instead of me escalating to and responding to her with more fire, I hung up the phone. So guess what she did after I hung up the phone? She called the manager, which she should have did in the first place. So then the manager calls me. I need to see you in my office. Okay. So I go down, and she said, you can't be hanging up in people's face. I said, hold on a minute. She's been calling me all morning, like I'm going to fix something. She started screaming and yelling at me, being unprofessional, and I didn't want to escalate it, so I hung up. She goes, I appreciate that, but you can't hang up on people. So now I'm being kind of talked to when I thought I was kind of avoiding the whole situation. So this same young lady, Thursday morning, our boss is on her way in, but she's not there, and we always have a huddle every morning where we talk about what's going to go on and how it's going to happen. And so the boss says, okay, this is what it's going to be. Sam and this guy is going to work here. You guys are going to do this. You guys are going to do that. All of a sudden, she says, well, I already decided that so-and-so was going to work with Sam, and we're going to do it this way. And like, as employees, we all looked at each other because our boss is telling us our assignments, and you're saying you're going to overrule our boss. Well, our boss said, no, I've told you what it's going to be. Leave it at that. She wasn't happy with that. So me and my other coworker, we go where we got to work, where we're assigned. She calls me. I need you to do this. She's not the boss. But I said, okay. So I do it. 30 minutes later. I need you to do this. Okay. So I do it again. 30 minutes later. I need you to do it. Why? I was already there. I was like, okay, why? Why are you doing something right now? And that just like, it upset me the way she said it. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. And I hung up the phone, and I went to my boss's office. And I said, hey, this is what's going on. You need to talk to this person because I'm getting upset, and it's not fair. She's not the boss. You've already told us our assignments, and she keeps calling me. And she's like, my boss was saying she's not allowed to dictate work, and we've already discussed this. She goes, I'll talk to her. Okay. So I go back to work. Not even 20 minutes later, my boss is like, I need you in the meeting. I'm like, the meeting? Yeah. That employee won't talk to my boss without a union rep because I guess they already have a history. So now I got to go into a meeting with that young lady, a union rep, my boss, and me. Now, already, the union rep had come over to me and asked me, well, did she ask you for help or did she tell you to do it? And I said, well, I guess you could say she asked me for help, so already I'm looking like dumb for even going to my boss. I said, but the way she said it, she goes, well, there was someone else there with her, and they're stating that she wasn't aggressive at all. I said, well, okay, I got my coworker in here. You can go ask him what he thought. I don't need to do that. Okay, so for her, you went and got proof. But for me, you're not going to get proof. Again, this is all part of training of being an elder. I'm not supposed to be defending myself. I don't think I was even supposed to go to my boss. I was just supposed to say, yeah, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. And kind of be the whipping boy. But I'm not there yet. I can't some days do that. So we go to the meeting. The girl is like trying to overtalk my boss in front of the union rep. I don't know really whatever got settled because they said we were done and I left. My boss left, but the girl stayed in there with the union rep. And later my boss said she was telling the union rep that she felt like all of us, because unfortunately, me, my boss, and the union rep were all African American. She's Filipino. So she felt kind of outnumbered, I guess, like we were ganging up on her. But the union rep was in her favor in my eyes, so I don't see what the problem was. So since Elder Daniel has become the leader of our little group you just saw, he first put us on a sugar fast. Yeah. Also, he said, oh, you got to start picking some sort of exercise. So at the time, being that I had just gotten out of the hospital, he gave me the choice to walk. So I said, okay, I'll go walk. So put the first picture up. So right across from Kaiser, there's a little park. And as soon as the booth gets it together, we'll see it. Oh, there we go. So this is from the 12th floor of Kaiser. When I was in the hospital, I took the picture. But you can see the little pathway right here. So I follow that around, I don't know, sometimes 7 times, sometimes 12 times. And that's my exercise. So I do it all the time. Go ahead and go to the next picture. So, see, things like this. So when I'm at work and I'm getting a little bit, up there, I got the little squirrel that'll come out and say hi to me all the time. He listens to my complaints and doesn't tell anybody. And then sometimes we'll bring some friends. Go ahead and go to the next picture. This is Blue Jay. And he listens too sometimes. Right now, he was a little upset that day too, so he kind of turned away from me and didn't want to hear it, but I was letting him hear it anyway. And then there's one more person, and then there's a little red bird. So these are things when I'm in the park walking that I get to see, and it kind of lets me see kind of God in it, and it kind of brings me back to reality of that things aren't really that bad. I'm just kind of overreacting. But again, I think if I was deacon or no title, it wouldn't matter. But now that I've been elevated to elder, it's like every little thing matters. And the reason I bring this up is because I walk in this park all the time, but that Thursday, after me and the girl got into it, after the meeting, I'm walking in the park, and I think it was my second lap around, and there was a gentleman over to the side breaking some branches. So for some reason, it caught my attention. And I looked over at him, still walking, and didn't look where I was going, and there was a pothole. So I stepped in the pothole, turned my foot completely sideways, and thought I broke my ankle. I don't think I did, but it's been hurting and swollen since. And, we have to perform, and now I'm up here preaching. But my first thought was, okay, this is because you started all that mess at work complaining when you should have just sucked it up and did what you were asked to do. And again, I think it's because of me being elder. Now, to go back, I think last weekend I was asked to go into pastor's office and be a part of a meeting. And when I saw the things he has to deal with and how he dealt with it as opposed to how I would deal with it, oh my gosh, I got so far to go, so many things to learn. And I didn't understand it. I kind of feel sorry for you a little bit, Pastor, because you have to have a lot of patience and energy. And again, I'm not there yet. But slowly God is like, I guess, beating it into me. Unfortunately, so it's just been an experience being an elder now and seeing how much more careful you have to be, what you think, what you say, what you do, how you do it. And it's been a real testing week. There's other things that happen too, but by the grace of God, I've still been able to fulfill my duties of what it is to be an elder and be on a team and do my job. Now, Friday, when I went to work, my boss actually was like, oh, you're here. Yeah. I thought you were going to call in because I showed her my ankle on Thursday. She saw that it was swollen. And she even called the sick call guy. I was like, did Sam call in? And he was like, no, not to me. So I was limping throughout the day in excruciating pain, but I made it through the day, and now I'm up here preaching. But yeah, okay, so we can go to the first verse. So I want to talk about faith because this park also has to do with why I picked this subject. So in Matthew, he says, no, the other one. Yeah. Simon, who's Peter, the rock, the one that is very feisty, wants to cut the guard's ear off when he comes after Jesus and always tells Jesus, like, God can't do this to you. And he has to tell him, Satan, get behind me. But in this verse, Simon, Simon, listen, Satan has demanded permission to sift all of you like grain. But I have prayed especially for you, Peter, which I feel like you guys need to especially pray for me because it's not easy. That your faith and confidence in me may not fail. And you, once you have turned back again to me, strengthen and support your brothers in the faith. So in the faith is the key thing. When we get sidetracked, when we allow our flesh to overrule our faith or our spirit, that's when we lose. That's when things happen. As long as we keep our faith, like it says, we can move mountains. One guy in the Bible made the sun stay still for like an extra 30 minutes. So could you imagine? Okay, moving a mountain would be big, but the sun that's how many hundreds of thousands of miles away and what degree, and you're telling it, nope, just stay right there till I tell you to move forward. And it does it. I mean, to me, that's more incredible than moving a mountain. But go ahead and go to the other verse. And this one, so at one point, Jesus had sent the disciples out to do work. And they came upon a possessed person. And when the demon saw them, it wasn't afraid. And he told them, I know Jesus, but I don't know you. And basically he beat him up and threw him out the house like naked or something, So this same boy got brought to Jesus, and Jesus rebuked the demon like, no big issue. Oh, you're out, and he was out. So the disciples came to Jesus privately and asked, why could we not drive it out? He answered, because of your little faith, your lack of trust and confidence in the power of God. For I assure you and most solemnly say to you, if you have living faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and if it is God's will, it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. So, again, with faith, you can do anything that you set out to do. So go to some of the other pictures, the next picture I showed you. So this is one of the tents that's also in the park. So there's beautiful things, and then there's things that sometimes when I walk by, I'm like, wow, I could be like one step away from living like this if I don't obey or do the foundation of praying, reading, being obedient. Let's say I was like, I don't want to be an elder, or I still had a fleshly way, or I let my pride still take over, or what have you. I could be there. Go ahead and go to the next one. Here's another one. And it's not just that there are tents in the park. You usually see the people that come out of them. I mean, they'll be standing there doing all these antics, and I'm walking around the park like, oh, Lord, just don't come bother me. Just leave me alone. That's all I ask. And they do some stuff that you're like, being in church and spiritual, it's like, I don't see just them. It's like, there's a lot going on in there. I mean, you could just tell by the way that their body moves, that their eyes are not really there, and the quirks and different things. It's scary. It's really scary. Next one. This guy I never really see come out, but he like has the condominium there. I mean, he has a 5-gallon pot. I think that's for his restroom or something. He's got a shopping cart. He's been there the longest. I think he was at, so whoever the guy was that caused me to hurt my ankle was standing by that little brick wall, like breaking branches or something. And I don't know why I looked to see what was going on, but I did, and that's when I fell into the pothole. So go ahead and go to the next one. So these are two guys. I took a picture here because I wanted to show the area they live in. Now, they've been removed now, but they were there for months, and these guys didn't have tents. And there's one guy in particular that it seemed like every time I walked, he'd just be coming back from somehow getting his drugs. Because I'd see him walking back into the park to sit in his little area, and then by the time I'm around on the next lap, he sits there and does them. Now, mothers and kids are walking by, I'm walking by, and he's doing his thing. And you know, a part of me like wants to go up and be like, how do you get the money for this, and you're living here, but you manage to have this every day? But I don't know if he'd have a conversation with me or not, but I wanted to ask him. So go ahead and go to the next one. So that's him and his buddy right there. Yeah, there's two of them. So this is the guy that's there all the time. This guy was kind of new, and at first they were apart. He was over at his area, and this guy was in his area where he's always at. But if you blow it up, you'll see it almost looks like his hand was moving like he was holy dancing, but in the other hand, he was holding a pipe. So you can see he has so what brought them together is, oh, he got drugs. Let me come over and sit in his area, and I'll do some drugs, and he can do some drugs. And that's what brought them together. And the reason I bring all this up is because when I see this guy out here every day, I want to go up to him every day and be like, you know, God bless you, or talk to him, or say something, but I have fear that whatever is in him is too strong for me. And that's where I wanted to bring up faith. Because I don't know if God was leading me to go up to him and try to talk to him or to give him a word. So what I did do is as I walked by him on the path and he's over there, I'm like, God bless you. But I wouldn't go near him. I wouldn't go up to him because I was afraid. I didn't want to get beat up and thrown out in the street naked. So I'm hoping that God bless you, because again, he's not there now. He had been there for a good 2 or 3 months, and his routine was consistent. He's not there anymore. Neither one of them are there anymore. So I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he got help or if he just found a new spot to post up. But I bring that up because I really felt moved to go up and try to talk to him and see if there was anything I could say or do to help him, or to just, like really, I wanted to go up and put my hand on him and be like, out demon, and, do a whole exorcism, but there's no way. And like Pastor says when he talks to some of us in church, he goes home and has nightmares. I don't want nothing going on home by myself at night. I want to be able to sleep. I don't want something floating. I don't want no nightmares. I don't want nothing. So I was scared. I wouldn't go and talk to that man. I wouldn't go and speak with him because of my fear. And then I felt convicted because I'm supposed to be an elder. But then I don't know what's my limits. I'm still learning what it means to be an elder. I'm still trying to achieve being an elder. I'm still trying to better myself as an elder. So I don't know what would have happened had I tried to do that. I might have been overstepping my bounds. I haven't been told to evangelize. I haven't been told to save anyone or cure anyone or anything. But, when the disciples did it, they were told by Jesus, this is your time. They had been trained. It was their test. I'm just like, oh, look at this guy. Maybe I can go up and be gone, demon, in the name of Jesus. And maybe he'd look up at me like the other guy where Jesus drives the demons out into the pig because they were legion, and he drove them out into the pigs, and the pigs jumped off the cliff, and then he just sat there normal and had a conversation. Everything was all good? I mean, that would be great, but I was too scared. So that's why I wanted to talk about faith, because we all have faith. When I'm walking around seeing squirrels and birds and all that stuff, I'm good. I know that they're fine. Sometimes I'm like, I wonder if I held my hand out, would the bird come land in my hand? And, if I had a peanut, would a little chipmunk come up and take it or whatever? But you can have faith then when it's situations like that. But when the real test comes up, how much faith will you have then? When things aren't going well, what are you going to do? You're going to have fear, or are you going to rise to the occasion? Are you going to overcome it? There's different levels of faith, and from my understanding right now, I didn't have the faith to go up to that man and face him. I didn't have the faith to go up and challenge whatever is in him. I hope one day I will. I hope one day I won't be afraid to approach people like that and lay hands on or pray for or whatever the Lord calls for me to do. And at that point, I hope I'm able to follow through and do it and have good effects. He might not get healed right then, but maybe it'll lead to it. Maybe he'll get a blessing that day from the word I speak over him, or maybe he'll just all of a sudden lose his urge to do drugs or live in a park or something. I don't know, but I just hope that one day I reach a level where I can make a difference and not be afraid to try. So, I forgot to send one thing to the booth here. I'm just going to read it. So, it's called Your Faith. What do you believe in? Is it only what you know? Are you truly believing? Does what you believe show? Is it just what you can prove only when life is going smooth? When things are going rough, do you decide when enough is enough? When you go through a test, can you stay calm and give your best? When there is a storm and you feel the cold, can you stay warm, stand strong, and bold? Yes, you can if you trust. Believing in Him, it is a must. Not some or partial, but all the way. Read His word and always pray. Know where you stand and to whom you belong. Do your best to do right. Try to avoid choosing wrong. Do not let the enemy turn you into a wraith. Strengthen your spirit. There is no limit. Stand in faith.